All right, kids, what is going on? This is David of Blame Your Brother, and tonight something a little bit different than the normal show. Normally, John is here hanging out with me, joining us, but his family has a little bit of the COVID situation going on, so we are quarantining from each other for a week. We're taking the week off, and this week just happens to be the week that Mr. Tom Brady, the GOAT, the legend, the man, the myth, who actually walked this earth and had 7 freaking Super Bowl championships, decided to retire. So we have to go live on this thing right now. So I'm going to bring in Kent. I'm going to bring in Halfpint, and we're just going to see what happens. This could be a disaster. Normally, I have John helping me out. We have the board set up. I'm at home. I've been scrambling. So let's just bring these dudes in. All right, here we go. There we go. Let's see if they're here with us. All right. All right, there is Kent Peterson. I think. Says he's trying to connect.
Can you hear me?
I'm here. You hear me?
Yes, we can hear both of you, I think. All right, so we got Kent right now. We got Kent wearing the freaking Tom Brady jersey. Throwback, baby. Yeah, all right. I like it. All right.
Go blue.
I don't know. Halfpint is. I don't have what Halfpint. Why are you disapproving of this? What is the shaking of the head? Okay. Anyway, I was saying earlier, normally, me and John, we do this thing, and I mean, yeah, and he got his family sick. They're dealing with the COVID, and this has happened to be the week that Tom Brady retired. So we've got to jump into this. So obviously we'll start with you, Kent. I mean, you're rocking the gear. You must be a fan. How long have you been a fan of Thomas Brady? How long have you known about his greatness?
I mean, around these parts, we just call him Tommy Perfect because that's really what he is. Like everything about him is just beautiful and perfect, and he's a good. First of all, like let's not even talk about football. He's just a good-looking guy. Like off the bat, good-looking guy, perfect family. He married a supermodel. Like that's not even getting into his, Hall of Fame ×3 career. Like he's had multiple Hall of Fame careers. I'm a huge football fan. Obviously, he went to my favorite school, Michigan. So I've been backing him. I'm usually for pro sports, I'm a Lions fan because I'm from Michigan. So you got to be a Lions fan growing up in Michigan. But I'm also a Michigan fan. So anybody that came from Michigan, I always kind of cheer for them. And, we had the greatest of all time come from our school. So, I've been pulling for him ever since he started, when Flutie went out. We've been pulling for Brady. And, once he came in for that game, the rest is history, as they say. 7 Super Bowls. I can't even get into – I just listened to another podcast recently that was talking about Tom Brady. They basically did like 10 minutes of stats of just like the most ridiculous stats that he had. And I can't even get into all the stats, but I do want to talk about one.
Okay.
He's got 7 rings, 7 Super Bowl rings. There's not an NFL franchise that has 7 Super Bowl rings. Not a franchise. He's got more than every NFL franchise, period. I mean, what else can you say about the guy?
I mean, really, you've said just about everything you could say. I mean, like you said, let's just talk about he's married to a supermodel. Like for real, let's think about that. He's married to a supermodel. He's got every record there is, right? Here's my thing, and I want Halfpint to speak on this in a second. What is with this country we live in where we want greatness, we want the best, we want everyone to achieve their dreams and be the greatest. And then the minute someone does that, they instantly just turn on them, and it's disgusting. It's disgusting the hate they have for this man. They accuse this man of being a cheater. There's not even proof this happened. And I would say this, people who say, yeah, if your work came to you today, if your job that you work there, you don't live there, and they say, give me your personal cell phone, how many people would do it? Because I think the answer is like less than 0. Halfpint, please speak to this.
Speak to what exactly? I mean, people hate Tom Brady. There's just I think when it came to the first Super Bowls, he was everyone's darling. When he came out, he was not expected to start and win and win and win. You look at that Rams Super Bowl in 2001, the Rams were the favorites. It was the Rams because that was the dynasty. That was the tackle. That was the team. And they were usurped by this kid who was a sixth round pick. No one expected him to amount to anything in the National Football League. And he beat the dynasty of the time, became a dynasty of his own. I think it became when he went to like 2, then 3, then 4. Everyone just kept getting tired. It's Tom Brady. Can someone else do something? But to be honest, no one else did for that amount of time. Before, when you DM'd me and you said, we're going to do this tonight, I actually went back and looked up every quarterback I've ever seen live and in person. And I've been going to games since 1998. I've seen at least 15, if not 20 quarterbacks that will be Hall of Famers as of right now. And none of them compare to Tom Brady. And I had to actually physically go to see him. I went to Atlanta this year to see the Atlanta-Tampa Bay game just so I could say I've seen Tom Brady live. And nothing will ever amount to that. But like I said, the hate, it was mostly jealousy, and we just kept getting tired of seeing the same team over and over again. It's like everyone makes fun of the Cowboys, even though the Cowboys haven't done diddly squat in 20 years. So, there's that. But honestly, like last year, what did I tell you last year when you were talking to me on I think on another podcast or something, because you were talking about Tom Brady going to the Bucks, and I told you verbatim, Tampa Bay's going to host the Super Bowl. Tampa Bay's going to win.
You did.
And it's going to be because of Tom Brady. And I was right. I wish I wasn't, but these things happen.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You wish you weren't. Dude, that is one of the greatest stories of all time. Do you understand? Okay, like you guys said, this man is.
I know he was on the road. He came back from 8 points against a rookie nobody. He went on the road. Who is this? I forget his second. His second game was Drew Brees. He finally beat Drew Brees. He never beat the Saints in regular season. They only beat him in the playoffs. And then they had to go up against Aaron Rodgers, and they won the. Going on the road, and then going home and going up against Patrick Mahomes and not allowing a touchdown. Yeah. That defense right there, and they didn't have to rely solely on his arm. You are right, but like I said, part of me wished I wasn't right. So
look, the man has had, and like Kent said earlier, the man has had 3 Hall of Fame careers. 3. Okay, so you can say he cheated. Let's just say Deflategate, right? Because they love to talk about Deflategate. Blah blah blah. Who cares? The man could throw a football half deflated or full. It doesn't, whatever. Okay. Take that season out if you want. Are you saying this man cheated for all the years he was in the league? It's ridiculous talk. Okay. It's ridiculous. Okay.
I don't even address it. I really don't even address it because the thing is, like, what they found after it was all over was that it happens. Not only does it happen all the time, but it happens the other way. Like, balls are overinflated all the time. And nobody's ever gotten in trouble for that. It's because it's Tom.
Right.
And because Tom's won so much that they wanted to, like, find some, put a black mark on his career, but they couldn't do it. I mean, no one even, like, I don't even address it. It's not like he was playing with a golf ball or anything. He was still playing with a football.
Right.
I mean, get out of here. It really didn't even give, in my opinion, it didn't even give him an advantage. Like, who cares? Like, if you want to play with a flat football or not? It didn't. To me, it never even mattered.
Here's the fun. Yeah. Here's the fun fact about that game that no one notices. In the first half, when the balls were deflated, quote unquote, they were only up by like a touchdown. In the second half of the game, when the regular balls came into play, that's when the blowout occurred. And like these people, this is what they want to do with this man's career. You know why everyone's mad here in Tennessee? Because they wanted to hang their hat on Peyton Manning. They thought he was going to be the next great thing. And look, Peyton Manning is great. I'm not going to sit here and act like he wasn't. But he was great at the wrong time because he was great. He was living in the shadow of Brady his entire career. It'd never go away. Peyton Manning wishes he was Tom Brady. Tom Brady has never woken up one day of his life and said, I sure would like to be Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning has done the other thing. It's just facts. I mean, go ahead.
He's going to do that with the media stuff, with all the because you look at Peyton Manning's after football career, and now that Tom Brady knows here's life after football, he's going to be like, okay, what's Peyton doing that I could do better? So
That's true.
I mean, if we're going to talk about deflating balls, I mean, Peyton Manning, this is not a joke, and people don't even know about this. This man teabagged an athletic trainer at the University of Tennessee, and never got in trouble for it.
It's
because of an NDA. There was an NDA in that. There was a settlement.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, you see, the story goes when the story came out like 20 years later or whatever, they actually were investigating to make sure that the person wasn't in violation of because it wasn't maybe not an NDA, but they weren't allowed to. It was stricken. They weren't allowed to talk about it. It was like a hush money. Don't bring it up.
I'm allowed to talk about it.
Well, wait a minute. This does not mean this did not happen. This is this did not take place. This man was Me Too. He Me Too'd someone 100%. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever.
But Tom Brady let some air out of a couple footballs though. So like he's the bad guy though.
That's all they got on him.
It's unbelievable.
It is crazy.
And what did he do the year he got suspended? What did he do?
Who was that?
The year he got suspended. Tom Brady. When Brady got suspended 4 games.
4 games. Yeah, they won it that year, right?
And not only did he win it, he won it in overtime.
Right.
Against Atlanta. Arthur Blank was on the sidelines because they were up 28-3, and they couldn't come. They couldn't seal the game. And Brady came back, and Roger Goodell, G-O-D, that's what my name is. That's what I am. Had to walk out on the field to hand the Lombardi Trophy to Robert Kraft, Bill Belichick, and Tom Brady. And Goodell wasn't even on the field 5 minutes. People got on the Brady. I think people got on the Cam Newton for not, people got on the Brady for not shaking Nick Foles' hand after that one Super Bowl.
Right.
But Goodell wasn't even on the field 5 minutes to hand the Lombardi Trophy to Tom Brady, the MVP of that game, who, by the way, came back from 28-3. How many memories did he create?
That is
to fans
yes.
all over the world.
He was in, no doubt, the greatest Super Bowl of all time. How does this man? It's like Forrest Gump. You watch that movie and you're like, this is stupid, right? This guy cannot be in all these moments. Tom Brady literally was all of those moments in football. Like I that's what I'm saying. Even if you didn't like the man, all you like fans that hate him, like you just have to enjoy the historical moments that occurred that probably will never happen again. Like I mean, anything's possible, right? Mahomes was supposed to be 2.0, but it's harder than it looks, man.
I do want to say, too, real quick, I have 2 things, actually. First of all, Super Bowl 51 against Atlanta was, I think, in my lifetime, my favorite Super Bowl, not only because of the comeback, but because I was living in Atlanta at the time. And I went to a Super Bowl party, and it was only Falcons fans there. And I was there, and I was wearing this jersey.
Oh, God.
And I was getting harassed for 2.5 hours, and then I only got to harass them for about 30 minutes before the party was over, because once it was over, it was just like same old story. Tommy Perfect comes down and wins the game again, even though honestly he's not the one that won the game. It was the defense that ended up winning that game, but he brought them back. He did bring them back, and he got them in position to win the game. The defense finished it off, but it was just such a perfect night. It's like I was like in the lion's den basically against everyone, and they're just killing me the whole game. And then at the end of the night, it was like, I'm the one that's laughing last. It was great. But I do have a question though. We kind of talked about it already. Why is it just because he's so good? Why does everybody hate him so much? Like, what is the hate? Where does the hate stem from? Is it just because he's so good?
I think Halfpint said it earlier. I think they were just sick and they wanted someone new, right? Like that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand this mentality of I was at a Super Bowl party at my house, right? And my father-in-law is like giving me business at that Atlanta game, right? And I'd resigned like at halftime. I was like, all right, well, maybe it ends. Right? I mean, honestly, I'll just be honest. I was like, well, maybe he's going to lose this one. I mean, he's lost some before. Before my son was born, he lost the Giants one. That hurt. And I was getting so much crap dude, when that comeback started, I'm with you, Ken. It is one of the greatest sports moments of my life. And so people are like, David, why do you like Tom Brady? Because I used to wear the TB12 hat to Titans games, and dude, I would get so much crap from people, like whatever. But in 1999, the Rams Super Bowl, after the year after that, I remember I was on the phone with my brother, and I said, dude, I just watched a game. It was when Bledsoe went down. I said, this dude is the truth. His name is Tom Brady. Don't ever forget his name. And my brother was like, there's no way. I went, no, dude, I'm telling you, this guy's got something. I've been on that ride ever since, man. But I don't know, man. I don't know why people hate him.
It is funny. I was about to ask you that because I knew you've always been a fan of his, but I really didn't know why. It just started because you just liked him from the beginning, huh?
Yeah. And look, man, like when you're watching, once again, like I try to tell people, like you've got to enjoy these moments. Like no one like hates Tiger Woods with the amount of hate for Tom Brady. No one hated Michael Jordan as much as like LeBron. I get it. He's kind of like a whiner, and so I get it. But even the new generation kind of likes him. This is unheralded hate. All they have is Spygate, Deflategate. Oh, he cheated his entire career. That's all I could see. Like that was negative in the last week. I'm like, come on, man. So I think a lot of it's just being here in Tennessee. I think it is. I think Peyton Manning, because early on, if you remember, he was whooping Peyton Manning's ass like every year, dude. I mean, he was knocking him out of the playoffs. I thought for a while that Peyton Manning would never win a Super Bowl. I was like, if Brady's around, this guy may be toast his entire career. So I don't know.
And I hate to continue to be this guy, but you just brought up Tiger Woods and Michael Jordan. It feels like everybody you bring up, Peyton Manning, Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, I don't care who it is. They all have more dirt on them in their own personal lives than Tom Brady does.
Dude.
Like it doesn't, I'm not going to sit here and I don't have to do it. Google it. Like if you don't know about, like everyone knows about Tiger Woods. If you don't know about what Michael Jordan was up to, go do some research. The guy was not a saint. Okay.
No.
And like Tom Brady is the closest we have to that. Like he was clean off the field. He was clean on the field. He played the game the right way. The only thing I can see is if you were either like an Ohio State or Michigan State fan and you just didn't like him because he went to Michigan,
right?
Or B, you were in his division. Like I have a buddy that's a Buffalo Bills fan. Obviously, he hates Tom Brady. Of course you do. You lost to him twice a year or whatever. Or whatever it was, like you just always lost to him. You never could make it to the Super Bowl if you're in the AFC. I can understand that you don't like him because of that. But anybody else, if you're just a casual fan or if you're a football fan in general, you have to like this guy. Like there's just guys that come around that play the right way that you just like. LaDainian Tomlinson was one of those guys for me. Like running back, like he was setting records. Like when I was a big fan right out of high school and college, he played the right way. He was like always kept his head down, and like his team was never really good. He was a good guy to cheer for, but like he didn't win a lot. He didn't win as much as Brady, but there's like certain guys that you could just be like, I just like that guy. And I feel like Tom should be one of those guys, and he's not, but I don't really care because I love him. Everybody that I'm close to loves him. So, and this, I'll sit here and talk about him for 4 hours. I love this has been great already, man. I love talking about Tom.
I mean, you make so many valid points there, which is crazy. I didn't even think about Tiger and Jordan and whoever else, but yeah, it's crazy that he is such a role model. I mean, that's what's crazy to me. Like they never had dirt on this guy ever. Like the worst thing they ever had on him is he kissed his kid on the mouth. Like, oh wow, oh he's a dad and he kissed his kid on the. I mean, dude, is that really that's the basis of your hatred? I don't know. What do you want to talk about Halfpint? His last pass as a Patriot was to who now?
It was to former Patriot and current then Tennessee Titan Logan Ryan for a pick six. That's my favorite Tom Brady memory of all time, and I wonder why.
I wonder. Tom Brady's essentially, I would argue, one of the reasons Vrabel even has a head coaching job. If Brady does not lead all those people to those championships, those people are forgotten. Like, think about, this is another point about Tom Brady. He had 1 year, he had an elite receiver. 1 year, and they broke the touchdown reception record that year with Randy Moss. After that, dude, you name his wide receivers. Go ahead. Someone list me all these receivers he had. Nobody. Running backs. Nobody. I mean, he had Gronk. Can you tell me other offensive people that literally played with Tom Brady? No, you couldn't do it. You can list Peyton Manning, had freaking Marvin Harrison. He had Edgerrin James, like his whole career. Tom Brady had just a bunch of dudes off the street, essentially. Like, these guys were not A1 players. I think that's insane.
I can name them because I watched so much, so I can name some of these guys. But to your point, though, I wouldn't be able to name them
right.
if they didn't play with Brady, though.
How many are going into the Hall? How many of those players are going into the Hall? Like, hardly any, right? I mean, not offensively. I'm not talking about the defensive stars, but offensively, maybe Edelman, maybe.
I was going to say maybe Edelman.
And Edelman's pushing it.
Wes Welker, maybe? I mean, is he
maybe?
Okay, so maybe.
I was going to say maybe Deion Branch because he played both ways, but I don't know if he had enough stats, though.
Right. So that's another thing. I'm saying, man, you can just stack up. That's what I'm saying. Like, oh, he was a system quarterback. Okay, so he went to the Bucs. Now is he a system quarterback? He's also 44 years old, my people. He's the same age as me, dude. There are mornings I get out of bed and literally I'm like, I don't know if I can make it into the kitchen today. This guy was going out on Sunday and he should be MVP this year. I don't even want to talk about Aaron Rodgers. He's a bum. He's trash. That's another subject. The dude's moving here. If he comes here Halfpint, I'm telling you right now, I'm done with the Titans for his extent here. I will not support them in any manner whatsoever. I will root actively against them. If that dude wins the MVP this year, it is trash and a half. You look at the stats. Brady had better stats. So I want to jump to that.
No.
You want Rodgers here? I want that.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. I want to state we don't have the money to pay him. We don't have the cap space to grab him. They're not going to trade for him. He's just buying property here. Everybody's buying property here.
All the wrong people.
The amount of celebrities that you don't agree with,
yes,
for whatever reason, I'm not saying right or wrong, you don't agree with, they're buying property here for whatever reason that they're doing it. It's cheap. They can live here, and it's Nashville.
They loved it. They love it. That's the point. Beside the point, who should be MVP? Or do you think Rodgers over Brady? I'm being honest 100% right now. Because if you look at the stats alone, Brady's got better numbers than him. He's got more touchdowns. He's got more yards. He has more interceptions.
Doesn't have to be a quarterback. Doesn't have to be a quarterback.
Who else would it be?
I mean, when you go to most valuable player, I'm sorry, you're going to shoot me for this one, but I saw Cooper Kupp play, and I'm like, why the hell is he even close?
He's good.
Why is he not being qualified? In theory, it doesn't have to be a quarterback. No.
Who cares? Just give it to Brady. It's his last year. Just give it to him. Just give him one more.
That's what it's going to end up doing.
That is definitely what's going to happen. Yeah. For sure. But Halfpint's right. Cooper Kupp had the best year of anyone in the NFL. He put up the most stats. And the only thing I don't like about it is that he broke some records that Calvin Johnson had. And I already told you I'm a Lions fan. Yeah. But it wasn't fair because he had an extra game, though. I personally think that.
That's true.
The fact of the matter is, he does have some NFL records, and he had an unbelievable year. Like Cooper
he's
Kupp
sick. He's sick. He's crazy.
Like he's literally unstoppable. He cannot be guarded.
Okay, so I want to get his Lions fan. How do you feel, dude? Stafford's on the Lions his entire career, dude. His entire career. We know he's a good quarterback. This dude goes to another team the first year he's in the freaking Super Bowl, dude. How bad are the Lions, man? That is. It is insane, dude. It just shows you how bad
they're not. They're well. First of all, yes, the Lions obviously are that bad. He made us better than what we probably should have been. But here's the thing, man. I have such a hot take on this, and I'm going to be different than most Lions fans that you talk to. Everybody is cheering for Stafford in Detroit. Everybody is, okay, and that's great. Like I like Stafford. Like, good for him. I'm glad he's going to the Super Bowl. But here's the facts, though. When the season started, listen to me. We traded Matt Stafford for first round picks from the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted Matthew Stafford to lose every single game because we have their picks. I want that pick to be a high pick. It's not going to be now. It's going to be the last pick in the first round. So personally, I wanted him to do bad. Now that he's here,
that is the worst kid. No, that is the worst take I've ever heard, man. This guy
sounds like a Philly fan right there. Sounds like a Philly fan right there.
That's fine. I mean, you could be like, I'm almost at the age now where I don't even really actively root for teams that much anymore. I mean, I still root for the Titans, but these players, man, they don't deserve. Stafford deserves to get that ring, man. Like, if I could just put it on his hand.
He does, and that's fine. But when it comes down to it, I'm not a Rams fan.
I hear you.
I'm not. I'm just not a Rams fan. And, like, I know he was on our team for a long time. There's lots of guys that played for us for a long time. Like,
okay, here's a counterpoint. You've had your franchise has had number one picks in the past. They screwed those up. Why would this be any different if they had a top 5 pick? They suck at picking. They need to burn it.
Right.
They need to burn it down, start over. I'm talking GM down. They've done it multiple times. I don't know.
Getting rid of Stafford was the first step, though, to doing that.
Well,
like we couldn't keep him. We couldn't keep paying him for.
Yeah.
Well, we're just wasting his career away. We had to get some draft capital back for him.
I hear you, but you ran out 2 of the greatest of all time. Not you specifically, but
3.
Barry. Oh yeah. Well, Barry, Calvin. Who's the other
Stafford.
One? Oh yeah. Well, the other 2 they literally ran it. They retired, dude. They're we're not playing anymore. So.
Yeah.
But anyways, yes.
No, I'm just I don't know. I personally don't. I understand why people are doing it, but for me, I'm not like, let's go Stafford. Like, I'm not a Stafford fan. I'm a Lions fan. And I've met Matthew Stafford before. I understand. Like, he's a cool guy. Like good for him. Like, I'm glad that he's doing well where he's gone. But, like, I'm a Lions fan. I'm going to watch the Super Bowl, and I'm going to watch it like the Rams are playing the Bengals. It's not like I'm going to be like, let's go Stafford. I'm going to be cheering for Joe Burrow just as hard. I like Joe Burrow. Like, maybe as much or more than I like Stafford, you know? Huh. Joe Burrow's great. Like, he's cool Joe.
Yeah. You know, watching Joe Burrow play, I regret not going the year he won the national championship. Vanderbilt hosted LSU that year, and I regretted not going so I could say I saw Joey Burrow. Yeah. And then during last year, because of the pandemic, we couldn't go to games. I couldn't go see Joey Burrow. And then this year, just so happens, we hosted them in the playoffs, and I got to watch Joey Burrow sit on his ass for 9 times, and it's still tough that game's still tough to get over, because if it wasn't for 3 turnovers, that roles could have been reversed. But anyway, but I'm happy for Joe Burrow. I really am. But actually, going back to the Titans real quick, Tom Brady threw 624 touchdown passes. 8 of those were to Mike Vrabel.
Wow.
And Kent was talking about LaDainian Tomlinson. LaDainian Tomlinson was drafted, played, retired, and entered into the Hall of Fame, all while Tom Brady was still playing.
Yeah.
Like 18 years, I think like 17 years span. Tom Brady was playing that entire span. That's insane.
It is insane.
The only person who's played more seasons is George Blanda, and no one's going to break Blanda's record unless they're Adam Vinatieri or unless they're a long-term kicker. Justin Tucker might do it, but you're not going to see an active player of that level play for over 15 years, let alone 20, let alone 22. 22 years in the NFL, and in that span, he had 3 separate Hall of Fame careers. 3 that you could just throw in on that one.
It's funny you say that, because I have a similar. I don't know the exact stat, and I'm not looking anything up tonight because I'm just having fun. But we talked about Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson was at Georgia Tech when Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl. He got drafted after Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl, played a Hall of Fame career, and has been retired for 4 years now, and now Tom Brady's done playing. He was in college, got drafted, played, and then had a Hall of Fame career, and then was done, all while Tom Brady was he was already playing for a few years. I'm saying his first Super Bowl was what was that? That wasn't his first year.
2001.
Yeah. So I mean, that's crazy in itself too. It's similar to what you just said about LaDainian.
Yeah.
crazy. Like there's a lot of players like that.
Yeah.
Well,
But
yeah. I mean, like you said, we could probably talk about it forever and ever and ever. But what? Just looking back, we're gonna start to wrap it up because we got 10 minutes on the free Zoom call. What? I mean, do you have one moment that really stands out, or one game, or anything that you just remember that really stands out? Half pint. We'll start with you.
I could bring up the 55 the 55 points he scored in New England in the snow in October. I could bring up the few times we beat him down here, but it will be being in Atlanta, watching him his final season, and seeing him still dominate and still kick ass at like 44 years old. Knowing that I could tell my kids, if I ever have them, of course, but knowing I could tell future generations, I saw the GOAT live in person, the greatest athlete ever produced in this country.
There you go. Kent, what stands out for you? What's one or two things that stand out for you?
I mean, like I said, I talked about it before. It's got to be Super Bowl 51 against the Falcons. Obviously, the comeback was unbelievable, but if I had, that's number one, I think, for anybody that's talking about his career, that's got to be top on his list. It's an unbelievable comeback on the highest stage. Like, that doesn't happen ever. But if I had to pick a second one, I think the less talked about thing about Tom Brady is that, everyone talks about Steph Curry, like, changed basketball, right? I really think that Tom Brady, he really kind of changed football and the way that we view quarterbacks and how important that they are and rules that we have to put in to protect them and everything. He did that. I think he really shifted the game. I mean, I know he had a long time to do it, but he shifted the game to where we now know how important it is to get a franchise quarterback. It's important to get a guy like Burrow. And it started in Oakland in the snow game, or it was against Oakland in the snow game and the tuck rule. They changed the rule for him basically to benefit and to win that game. So that's another really memorable thing for me, that basically, the NFL just started shifting things to protect guys like him because they knew how marketable they are, how valuable they are. And the NFL is a business and they had to protect these guys. And they're the most important guys on the team. And I think Tom really was, I think he was a pioneer in that. I could be wrong. There could be guys before him, but I think he was.
I think that's all a valid point. I mean, look, the tuck rule, the hit him at the knees against the Chiefs in the preseason game that changed that rule. You had the deflate thing where, that him and Peyton Manning had helped kind of set that up anyways, even before any of that happened. Yeah, he changed football forever. And like you say, it became just important. Like you say, he started in an era where defense was still like key. Then him and I'll give Peyton credit too. There was a group of dudes that came in and just, they were so good. Teams were just like, shit, man, just get a good quarterback. Defense, who cares about that, And he was really the face of that movement, And, I like you said, you got to talk about the Super Bowl with Atlanta. That's, like I said, it's one of my great sport moments of all time. I was at a bar when I watched the Tuck game happen. I was there for his first Super Bowl. So it's amazing. It's also great now that he's able to go and do other things. He's going to do other great things. He's just that person, and it's good that now all the haters can maybe find someone else to hate, go find someone else to hate, go whatever you want to do with your life, but this guy, come on, man. I just ask anyone watching this, be honest with yourself. You only hate this guy because you wish you were this guy. And that's, to me, what it is, And I don't know. He went out and I would have liked to see him go to Super Bowl, but I think he still went out pretty good. He almost brought him back, another miracle. And that game literally was God going, all right, Brady, I'm trying to give you this one more game. But unfortunately, it happened. But, yeah. Well, guys, I want to thank you so much. Before you leave, because we got just a few minutes, Super Bowl predictions. Kent, who you got?
It's got to be the Rams. They're playing at home, basically. They're going to be in their own locker room. They get to sleep in their own beds that night before the game. It shouldn't make a difference, but it does,
Yeah.
You think about trying to travel across the country and they have a team that, I mean, the Rams have never been there either, but the Rams have a lot of veteran guys. And honestly, I personally think, I've been saying this throughout the playoffs, I think the Rams have the best defense. They haven't played like that throughout the regular season, and it's been actually kind of weird watching them play and give up so many points. But they kind of got it locked in during the playoffs, and I think that their defense is going to be what really, they're going to put a lot of pressure on Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not just talking about Burrow either, Mixon too. They're not going to be able to run the ball very well. And I think the Rams win going away. Honestly, I think it'll be a 17-point game at least.
Wow.
I do. I think it's going to be bad.
Wow.
That's just how I see it. Like, I think, and I know Burrow's played in big games before, but this is the Super Bowl, man. It's different. There's a long halftime. You're not at home. Stafford's never been there either, but I just think the Rams have what it takes to. They have pieces that have been there. Like Sony Michel's been there before. Like Cooper Kupp's like going to be unstoppable. They have Odell, who's played in big games. So I just think they're going to be too much.
All right, Halfpint, what's your predictions for that game, man?
If I'm the Los Angeles Rams, I'm watching the film from the Titans game, and I'm learning one thing. I can get to Burrow with 4. The Tennessee Titans did that all day, every day. We could put a stop to Mixon. We can rush him with 4. The number 1 defense in this league can rush Joe Burrow with 4, and we can control the game. And if the Rams can consistently get up Burrow, they have no chance. And so, and even with Joey Magic, even if they do that, all they have to do is consistently go up 4, not make mistakes, not make turnovers like Titans. Just learn from the Titans' mistakes. The Rams do that, they win. And I don't think it'll be a 17-point game. It might be 2 scores at the end. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the Rams.
Okay, so I'm gonna agree with you. I gotta say Rams win. I'm bolder prediction. I think Aaron Donald might be the MVP of the game at the end of the game. Might, or Cooper Kupp. It's gonna be one of the two. I don't think it'll be Stafford. All right, well, gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight, for joining Blame Your Brother. We'll have to do this again. This was fun, man. Next big event, man, we can get together and do it. But, yes, thank you so much for joining this appreciation of Tom Brady. And thanks, everyone, for joining, checking it out. Go grab the podcast, do all that fun stuff, and that's it. See you guys later. All right, guys, that ended the stream. Thanks, man. It was fun, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, we'll have to do it again. It was fun. So,
yeah, man.